Hello everyone, welcome along to At Odds, all thanks to unibet.com.au. My name's Russell Barwick. These boys are the stars of the show, as you well know. Our 400,000 viewers each and every week. G'day to you all. Mark Waugh and Brian Fletcher.
Yeah. No, Hammer this week. Where's Hammer?
Yeah. Hammer refused to sign autographs and has withdrawn himself from the show this week in support of Ben Simmons. Actually, we'll have a little thought from Hammer on Ben Simmons shortly, on a serious note. Have you ever refused to sign an order? Oh, what am I asking you?
No, of course not.
Sign a
of course not. Of course not. Occasionally you can't sign everyone's autograph, but I think if you put the effort in, that's all you can. That's all you can do.
Dude, when you're signing an autograph, have you ever bristled up at someone who might have given you a bit of lip?
I bristle up if I think they're going to sell it, because you can tell the autograph hunters who are the professionals.
What about signing somewhere on a person's body? Have you ever had to do that?
Probably. In my heyday, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Brian?
Yeah, I did it. A bloke's arm. You got to tattoo.
All right. Yeah.
You got
Gotcha again, everyone. Let's talk about the cricket. Of course, the second Ashes test at Lords. A lot of rain forecast. Mark, if fast forward, would you be captain and bowling or batting, or is it weather permitting, or what do you do?
Well, I think you just got to look at the weather. Look up. See what the weather's like. They say don't look at the pitch, look up. So if it's a cloudy day, good for bowling. Lord's test against Ireland a couple of weeks ago, it was a real seaming track. Yeah. I don't think England are going to be that brave and have a real seaming track this time. But Jofra Archer's in the English team, of course. He's a bit of an X factor. The Australians, I think we're pretty confident. Lords is a great test match. We've got a pretty good record there as well.
I looked the other day, $1.63 Australia for the Ashes. Ages ago, you said that that's the best bet you'll see around at the moment. Are you still confident of another Australian? Well, maybe not a win in this one because of the weather, and it's very hard to predict, but flowing through to the series?
Very confident. I just like our bowling attack. We've got 6 fast bowlers ready to go, so we can rotate them when we need to, depending on conditions. England, I see their batting as being a bit brittle. No James Anderson probably for most of the series. They haven't got a spinner that's really going to bowl you out, so Australia look like they're in the box seat to win the series.
What about this test? Are we? I know your Hail Mary is involving wicket takers, but are you worried about runs?
It was, but not now.
Not now? No, you're not fast?
No.
Are you going to have a flutter on the match then?
Look, I think if there's enough time to play, if there's not a lot of rain around, I think Australia will win this test. Yeah. It just depends on the weather.
High bat, low bat?
It's hard to go past Smithy, isn't it?
It's got to be unders, though.
Yeah, he'll be unders, but better to take a
short price winner than a long price loser. Exactly. Fletch,
yes.
The rugby league starting to get into the very serious mode.
Wasn't it? Last week was good. Those top 4 teams going.
It was. Did it tell you anything that the top 2 teams are still that much far ahead of them?
They were. Yeah, the Roosters, especially down there against Canberra. Canberra, they built it up. Ricky Stewart had them up for this game. Roosters had those 3 high-quality players out, and the Chooks did it comfortably.
So, are we looking at a Melbourne Roosters?
I think we are, mate. Yeah, I think we are.
It really does look like it.
Roosters first time back-to-back is what the money's saying.
And South don't look good enough, do they?
But are Roosters as important without the football stadium? Can they carry that sort of home field advantage?
Yeah, as long as their fullback plays. Their fullback is the world's best player at the moment. What he did against Canberra on Sunday, a couple of little.
Did he get the Dally M points for you on?
Well, I hope he did. Either him or Cameron Smith. I think the only 2. I think they're the only 2 that.
Does he ever play a bad game, Cameron Smith?
Well, as you said, what did you say about Bellamy? We saw him last week.
He said,
when he looks for a player.
I like players who their best performances here and their worst performances there. Yeah. Consistent players.
Unlike the bosses of Unibet with us.
Yeah, we're here and there. You're here and I'm here.
Up and down like your proverbial. On that game, though, Melbourne and South, there were 17,000 people here. Yeah. The age-old argument, you're a Central Coast boy.
We've got to have a team. We need a team, don't we?
Well, you punted the Northern Eagles.
Yeah.
What team is going to want to go to Gosford? And I don't mean that rudely. I'm saying relocate.
Well, I mean, if you don't have another option, if you don't have an option, we saw what happens with Newtown and the Bears. If they had their time over, would they go up there and
still be alive?
Do we
need a team at the Gold Coast? Seriously, do we need one there?
Well, that's the.
We need another one in Queensland, because otherwise the Broncos get all.
And the other big question in rugby league surrounds Valentine Holmes.
I don't know enough about NFL, but he looked like he knew what he was doing.
Yeah, but so did Jared Hayne.
I think.
Yeah, but you compare what Jared Hayne did in his first game to what Valentine Holmes did. Valentine Holmes ran for more metres, had more completions. So
You know a bit about it.
Well, I mean, you could.
Could you have been an NFL player?
Oh, I could do anything.
Especially with your head, you could have knocked a few out the
Now
way.
the helmets.
He'd
I
have
had an
been
issue
the
with the
guy.
helmets.
You'd have been the guy holding the ball while the bloke kicks it.
But I'm happy to do that for 250 US.
Again.
The only problem is, I mean, they're not great, the Giants. If he does
Gotta
come
start
back,
somewhere.
you'd think the Cowboys have got the money in the cap. Definitely won't be going back to the Sharks because the Sharks have got enough fullbacks. But it's going to be a huge effort. He's got 2 more weeks, whether he knows he's going to be in the 53-man squad.
Okay, let's talk about the footy, and we kick it off. The big game for us, Seagulls Tigers Thursday. Seagulls are a potential top 5 team. Sort of snuck up on you a bit, haven't they?
Yeah, last week
What
was
were they doing
disappointing.
last week?
Yeah.
They've cost me my
They were good though. The Warriors were good. There's a bit of mail out that Daly Cherry Evans won't play on Thursday night. They've already lost Sirinen and young Parker, so
Might be
Tigers
close,
no
you think?
Robbie Farah. Robbie's gone. It's sad to see. They broke his tibia, so you won't see Robbie. But Seagulls at home will be hard to beat.
7v8 Broncos hosting the Panthers Friday night.
Just how could you
Yeah.
take the Broncos at $1.68 after their performance last week? That was the worst game of football I've ever seen.
And
they
they still
Broncos
won.
Cowboys.
They've still got those issues in their
still won,
halves. Yeah,
It was a shocking game.
probably shouldn't have won at the back there. But I mean, the Panthers.
They're good odds, the Panthers.
They
aren't
came back last week against Cronulla. I thought they were really impressive. And they got Maloney back in.
Okay. we'll
Broncos
look
at
forward
home,
to
though.
that. Storm and the Raiders 1v3. So Ricky has the Roosters 1 week and Bundy's up into the Storm the following week, and there will be no love lost between the former teammates.
Nah. Ricky would have them up. I think he put a lot of effort into last week's game against the Roosters, and now he's got to back it up again. Storm are just cruising. So what Storm did last week against South Sydney.
It's unbelievable.
Hard-
12-0 after
And
5
they
minutes.
get their fullback.
Well, they get Jerome Hughes back, and they get Pappenhausen back.
Yeah.
But that doesn't matter. Whoever they put in that Nico Hines.
He was good, wasn't he?
What about him? Never
First
heard of him.
game,
You're sort
yeah.
of Googling who the heck he
Central
is.
Coast boy.
And he's throwing double cutout passes to the winger.
It's just the system that Junior was talking about. What Bellamy's
They
got
breed
down
them
there.
tough, don't they?
And the derby is on Sunday, the Sharks and the Dragons. The Sharks $1.34 despite getting hammered all parts of the Oval last week. And the Dragons, well, they got away with one against the Gold
I
Coast.
smell an
Three of
upset there.
Yeah, well, the
Fletch.
line's pretty good.
I smell an upset
7.5.
there. Local
Look,
derby.
they were good against the Titans, but they also let in 26 points
Yeah.
against the Titans. That's what.
Everyone's good against the Titans. I think we've got to establish that. Massive week in AFL. It's kind of like what happened in NRL last week with the AFL, with the top 4 teams all playing off.
What's going to happen here, Russ?
Who's
Who's going to sneak in?
It sounds like a very obvious statement, but it's the most important week of footy of the year. Unlike what we saw with Melbourne and the Roosters last week, I think there might be an upset. I think Brisbane can beat Geelong. They're just loving life, Brisbane. When you're a winning team, loving team, I think they
How
can
could
win
you
at
love
home.
life in Brisbane, though?
And I think the
At
West
least it's
Coast,
not snowing up there. It's nice
I think the
and warm.
West Coast can beat
Brisbane,
Richmond.
though, Junior.
I know. West Coast can beat Richmond, which will mean that Brisbane and West
City
Coast
Rollers.
are on top of the ladder going into the final week, meaning no home preliminary finals potentially in Melbourne.
What about our team, GWS, both ambassadors?
They are walking, limping, hobbling towards the line. They were woeful last week
So-
in the snow.
They were. But talk about woeful. What about Essendon? Is there a stewards' inquiry there?
Essendon and North Melbourne. Essendon at one stage had 14 points into the final quarter. North Melbourne, in their game against Geelong, had 13 points. It was the tale of two woes. North, worst score in their history. Can you believe that? But this week, I think Brisbane will win over Geelong. They are favourites. Adelaide and Collingwood's one of those games, but our footy fill-up is the Lions, $2 against Geelong. So
Wow.
you got Geelong at one value and the Lions at another value. You can't lose either way. It's a fantastic offer from the Unibet team.
We've got to talk about the rugby, don't we? How
What about
good were the
that?
Wallabies?
What do you want to be?
Yeah,
What do you
Wallaby.
want to be? Now they go to Eden Park.
They haven't won there
Yeah.
since 86.
Matthew
Not
Burke.
1786, 1986.
Matthew Burke told me he has never played in a winning side, Wallabies, New South Wales, schoolboy footy, anything at Eden Park. Never. So
Have you played there? Eden
Yes,
Park?
yeah.
You won?
Yep.
he would have won.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we won. Well, I mean, if you're playing rugby league and rugby union at a ground, does the crowd have that big an effect? Once you start
Sometimes
playing,
they do.
it shouldn't really matter,
Sometimes,
should it?
but it's not them, it's the referees. Not saying that referees cheat. Not saying that at all.
Like once you're...
Sometimes,
But if you were,
But if I
you
was,
probably
and
would say it like
I-
you just said it.
sometimes the referees.
Haven't you ever had a stinker ground that you hate? Like you can't score and you're just
Probably the odd one, yeah.
Brookvale
Can't
Oval for
remember,
me.
but it would be the odd one.
Belmore
yeah.
Sports Ground.
Brookie Oval.
But, I mean, it's... It's a rectangular field. It's got grass on it. You're playing on grass. Once you start the game, the crowd should have no impact apart from maybe the referee.
Yeah, I know, but you've got to be mentally tough there. Not all of us are mentally
Okay.
tough.
Australia
Like
were
you and I.
$5 last week, scored the most they've ever scored against the All Blacks. They're $5.30 this week and 13.5
Well,
stars.
Russ, what are we doing? We backing them?
They must have some hope.
You've got to back them in. Two-horse
Okay.
race and you've won last start. If you look at that as a horse race or a sprinter or a football team,
James O'Connor was good, wasn't he?
he was fantastic.
Really
So
good.
come on, the Wallabies. And
bandwagon.
there's plenty of other sport going on. And we all catch the opening week of the EPL. How good was that?
Yeah,
Except if you're a
terrific.
Chelsea fan. they
Yeah,
got
I am a Chelsea fan
parked,
too.
belted across the park.
Yeah.
Frank Lampard just put a lazy five past you, Frankie boy. Welcome to coaching.
Coaching.
He'll last a month. Welcome back to At Odds with Junior Fletch. No hammer. I'm Russ Barwick, and we get into the part of the week where we boast or we sort of say where we went wrong. I am going to boast because once again I made a profit and you
Very
boasted.
good.
Well, if you don't know who's going to win the game like you, just tip on unders and overs.
Well, you could have
Because of
tipped
weather.
overs.
Yeah.
Couldn't
Don't worry
you?
about tipping a winner. Just go.
I'll give you a
Well,
wrap. I'll give you a wrap.
Hang on, let's just have a look at the scoreboard there. R. Barwick plus 800, M. War minus 150.
You're lucky the
Look
weather
at the ladder.
stayed as predicted.
Look at the ladder.
No, well done,
Could
Russ.
we just have
Well done.
a look at Irukandji
Where-
and head-to-head versus Oxford Tycoon as
Oh
well?
yes, of course.
Can
If
we
you
talk
didn't,
about that?
if you didn't join us last week, Mark owned a horse in the 8th race at Rosehill.
Ran 6th.
Brian owned a horse, and so Unibet put up odds Brian v Mark.
Yes.
Mark was very short price favourite and should have won, albeit for a pretty average steer.
Not about should have won, but
But
should have won. Ran a lot better.
Brian's horse, Irukandji, of which he
Flying
paid
the last 600.
$1,000 just for a tail, flew home to run 5th.
Fifth.
So I hope you got
Fifth,
the money.
And you bumped into my horse at
Yeah.
about the 200 metre mark.
Well, you bumped into
then
my
your
horse.
jockey was really strong late, Rachel King. Wasn't
Rachel,
she?
she's
Have
a
we got a
strong woman.
video of you blokes watching the race, or is there a video?
Nah, there's a video, but it's not of a
My
race.
head would have been down very low.
Another one
watching
of
that
those
race.
videos.
I was in a spa.
Let's get on to this week. That's all said and done.
Well done anyway, Russ.
Yeah,
Thank you
good
very
work.
much.
The footy fill-ups. Broncos $2 to take care of the Panthers. That's overs. And the Roosters winger special, because Unibet sponsor the Roosters. $10 for either winger to be the first try scorer. That's in the NRL. And as we mentioned, the Brisbane Lions $2 to take care of.
Is that
Geelong.
every week, Pistol Pete from Unibet?
Only the Roosters home games.
All right,
Only the
okay.
Roosters home games. Righto, boys. We've had enough fun. Let's talk about what we're going to do this week. You first, Fletch.
Go,
Okay,
Fletch.
all right. My slam dunk. Roosters half-time, full-time. Proud sponsored by Unibet. Into the Bulldogs.
Come on, the Bulldogs.
10.5 start, which is a big start against the Rabbitohs. This is where it gets a little bit querying here. Knights to beat the Cowboys, not real confident. But Storm to beat the Raiders, and you add them all up, and that gives you $6.
That's a good slam dunk.
Yeah.
Very good slam dunk.
you.
Four-legger.
Yeah. I'm going a four-legger too, NRL. I'm going the Seagulls to beat the Tigers. A little bit worried that DCE mightn't play, but anyway. I'm going the Storm to beat the Raiders, the Rabbitohs to beat the Bulldogs, and the Roosters to beat the Warriors. So that's about $3 or $4 there.
Okay.
$3, Mark.
Hammer's going the AFL
$4.
as he normally
Maybe
does.
$4.
Hawthorn to win 40 plus against the Gold Coast. GWS to win 1-39 against Bulldogs. Richmond, same margin, 1-39 against the West Coast. Myself, Port to beat North. Fremantle to beat Essendon. West Coast with the start. Western Bulldogs with the start against GWS. It's around about $10, which brings us to Seb.
Okay,
Hail Mary.
Hail Mary. I'm going to go AFL. I'm getting in the back of you
You're
last
really
week.
expanding your knowledge.
Collingwood to win 1-39 against Adelaide. Freo to win 1-39 against Essendon. This is the big upset. In the NRL, Tigers to beat the Sea Eagles at Lotto Land.
Yes.
Jeez.
Go.
I am going to Kensington, Royal Randwick on Saturday. Race 3, Pandemic to win. A Godolphin young horse, won very well on debut. I think he can win on Saturday in race 3. Then into race 8, a horse that I've got a share in called Venezuela. First run for us. I'm going to have him for a place. So Pandemic will win into Venezuela a place.
And just on the cricket, we talked about it before, because of the timing of the show and the game. If you were going to have a bit of you like Wokes and...
I had Wokes to be the leading wicket taker for England in the first innings and Cummins the leading wicket taker for Australia
so depending
in the first innings.
on who bats or bowls first, take a bit of Mark Waugh advice.
Can I just add, Junior, what would that be? What's that, your Hail Mary going to be?
I'm not sure. I'm hoping about $10.
Big odds.
10. But I don't
double figures.
When you're on a good thing, stick to it. I'm going the unders on all of these games. Sydney, Melbourne in the AFL, Fremantle, Essendon, and North Melbourne, Port Adelaide. Again, all unders. So not tipping a winner, just tipping.
So your Hail Mary is shorter than your slam dunk.
Sometimes
are you the full quid or what?
There's tactics involved.
Rather
than me read out Mark Schwarzer and Hammer's Hail Mary, and they'll repeat their slam dunks as well. Let's hear from themselves.
Hi guys. Well, this week my slam dunk is Arsenal to beat Burnley, Manchester City to beat Tottenham, and my Hail Mary is Leicester to beat Chelsea, Crystal Palace to beat Sheffield United, and Wolverhampton Wanderers to beat Manchester United. And for this week, my match multi is Liverpool to beat Southampton by 2.5 goals or more, and Sadio Mane to get on the score sheet. Happy punting, guys.
Hello punters, well I'm going for my slam dunk this week and it's the Hawks 40 plus against the hapless Gold Coast Suns. The only thing that'll save them is a little bit of rain, I reckon. GWS in a tough one against the Bulldogs 1-39, and to round out my slam I'm going for Richmond, two of the hottest teams in the competition, to be able to take care of the West Coast 1-39 as well. And for the Hail Mary, I'm going Adelaide to take care of Collingwood at home, North Melbourne in a bit of an upset against Port, who have been on fire, and Freo against the lacklustre Essendon Bombers to be able to win out in the West.
Okay, let's have a look at what's coming up this weekend. Plenty of sport to look forward to with all of the rugby league, the rugby union over in New Zealand, the Ashes and the AFL, a plethora. And don't forget the racing specials as we gear up for a massive spring. Unibet racing specials, boosted odds, bonus bets on the early races in both Sydney and Melbourne, all on the website unibet.com.au, plus those footy fill-ups. What a thing I wanted to ask you boys about, given the upset of Australia beating the All Blacks, massive upset, your most memorable underdog Aussie upset win?
You know what, I'd have to go, I was only a kid, but America's Cup.
I remember where I was.
Were you?
When that happened.
I was at school, Ben Lexon.
Well, I'm going, what about S. Bradbury? When he won the...
Stephen Bradbury.
Yeah.
Has he done his value any good since by going on Survivor? He sort of was a bit of a...
I didn't see that.
a naff
But that was a miracle. That.
But he's got a gold medal in the Olympics.
He has
in
got a
the
gold
Winter
medal.
Olympics.
Six blokes fell down in front of him.
That'll never happen in our lifetime again.
The other thing that I remember, and it might not have been an underdog story, but it was a story that brought the whole country together, was the John Aloisi penalty that got us into the World Cup.
Against Uruguay.
Yeah, everyone knows where they were when he scored. I mean, I was in the stand, but it was one of those where were you when that happened type of moments.
Agree, yeah.
Did you ever have any cricket where you...
We were never underdogs, were we?